Bonjour, bon après-midi. Aujourd'hui, les conservateurs forcent un débat et un vote au Parlement afin de renverser une politique libérale qui discrimine les étudiants cherchant à acquérir des compétences professionnelles essentielles pour des emplois très demandés. Today, Conservatives moved a motion in Parliament about protecting Canadian young people, preparing Canadian young people for Canadian jobs. We've identified, as we've worked on the growing problem of youth unemployment in this country, that one of the contributing factors is a gap in training. That while many Canadian young people are unemployed, there are needs for critical skills that go unfilled by Canadian workers. And we need to fix this gap by helping young Canadians acquire the skills that are going to allow them to succeed in our labour market. That's why, as part of our Conservative Youth Jobs Plan that we released in the fall, we proposed using the student grant system to incentivize the acquisition of skills aligned with the labour market, to offer relatively more generous grants to students pursuing in-demand skills. Sadly, in the last Liberal budget, they actually went in the opposite direction by proposing to remove all grant funding for students studying at private for-profit institutions. Essentially, if you're going to a vocational institution to acquire practical vocational skills, no student grant for you under the Liberal proposal, while any program of study at any university will allow you to access that grant. So while we're proposing to align those grants with the needs of the labour market, Liberals are going in the opposite direction by denying that grant funding to students at vocational institutions. So today, we put forward a motion to reverse that Liberal policy. And it comes out of the Human Resources Committee, where we've heard a great deal of testimony from different vocational groups highlighting how this Liberal policy will exacerbate existing shortages in terms of the workforce. And I congratulate the Liberal members of the Human Resources Committee for voting in favour of this motion at committee. It was in fact unanimous on the Human Resources Committee asking the government to reverse this policy. And I want to highlight as well that Liberal MP Michael Ma, speaking at a community event, called this Liberal policy systemically discriminatory because of the impact it will have in particular on those studying for traditional Chinese medicine. Generally, those studies are only available at private vocational types of institutions. So we're hopeful that this motion will pass and that the Liberal government will support our recommendation to reverse the bad policy they put in the last budget. If they don't, then we're going to continue to see the expansion of this gap between the skills young people have and the skills the labour market is in need of. It just doesn't make sense to cut off students who are trying to acquire the most job-relevant, in-demand skills. And with that, I'll take your questions. Okay. Thank you very much.
Ms. Rempel, Garner, can I get your thoughts on the U.S. Advisory Council?
I hope the Prime Minister can get a trade deal. That's what I'm measuring his success by. Thanks.
Get your thoughts on the new Advisory Council. Like, what are the goals here? Like, what can be done with this new council? Like, why change it?
Well, I think it's a good thing. You know, you want to hear as many voices as possible. This is important for different sector of the economy. It's good to have representation from across the country, from labor, from the union movement. It's a good thing. You know, you just want to make sure you hear all the voices. This is Team Canada at its best, so I think we should all be happy with that.
But Notley's been dropped. Is there like no NDP?
Sorry?
Rachel Notley's been dropped, so no
Listen,
NDP
different
voices.
people have come. I mean, I don't know the details of the individual, but I think it's representative of our country, representative of different industries, labor, the business sector, different, the automotive sector. I think it's just you try to pull people who can serve as well, depending on the availability of different people. But I think it's a good thing. But now that I see CPAC, my thoughts are with the folks that they're doing great work. We appreciate. I just saw the news and really, really sad. Great people.
No new Democrats in the council.
To be honest, I won't speculate. I just think sometimes you look at those who are available to serve, and I think we have voices that are representative of the country. I'll see you in a minute. Very sad for the folks at CPAC.